First, the Saturday people, then the Sunday people. What does this saying mean? And why does it matter to you? Find out this week, right here on the Watchman Newscast. Hey folks, this week we are bringing you a quick and important history lesson. Facts you may have never heard, but that you need to know. That's why we want you to subscribe to the Watchman News channel. We're bringing you the kind of cutting-edge, relevant information that you just won't hear anywhere else. So click that subscribe button, like what we're doing, and give us a big thumbs up for such a time as this. Now, that old saying I mentioned in the lead-in. First, the Saturday people, and then the Sunday people. What does it mean? Well, it's an old saying in the world of radical Islam and jihad. The Saturday people are the Jews. The Sunday people are the Christians. And what terrorists from ISIS, Al-QAEDA, and all the rest are saying is that when we are done with the Jews, we are coming next for the Christians. Now, it's not just a cute catchphrase or a slogan. This is happening, folks, in real time today, in 2019, before our very eyes. First, let's do a quick rewind to the 20th century and see how this old saying has played out in brutal detail. Did you know that in the first half of the 20th century, close to 1 million Jews lived in Arab and Muslim lands? It's hard to believe, but in places like Libya, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Iran, Iraq, Egypt, Syria, Yemen, there were significant and at times influential Jewish populations. What happened? Well, as the Zionist movement kicked into high gear in the first half of the 20th century and the Jewish people returned and reestablished miraculously the state of Israel in 1948, persecution of the Jews in Arab and Muslim lands exploded. In many cases, the Jewish people who had been in these lands for thousands of years fled with nothing but the clothes on their backs. I've personally heard stories of Jews who left places like Iraq and Morocco and literally walked to the land of Israel, to the land of their forefathers. The persecution was intense. And think about it. Jews in Iraq and Iran, modern day Iraq and Iran, yes, in the Bible, Iraq was known as Babylon, Mesopotamia. Iran was known as Persia. Esther, Mordecai, Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, Abednego, Ezekiel, all these great biblical figures lived in Iran and Iraq, which were then known again as Babylon and Persia. And the Jewish people stayed. For century upon century, they stayed in those lands. Now that's all gone. The Jewish populations which had lived in Arab and Muslim lands for centuries have vanished from those lands. But they are not gone. Many of them came to the land of Israel, their ancient and ancestral homeland, where they now make up a majority of the Jewish population. That's a quick history lesson on the Saturday people, the Jews. And what do we have today? The one and only Jewish state in the heart of the Middle East is again being targeted by the likes of Hamas, Hezbollah, the Iranian regime, and all the rest. There is still a bullseye on the back of the Saturday people. But what about the Sunday people, the Christians? The Middle East, after all, is the cradle of Christianity, the birthplace of the faith, home to ancient Christian communities that have been there for century upon century. Well, those Christian communities right now, folks, are struggling. I just returned from northern Iraq where I heard horrific stories of how ISIS slaughtered Christians throughout Iraq and Syria, these ancient Bible lands. The Christian population in the Middle East and North Africa is dramatically shrinking. The interesting thing about it is the one nation in the Middle East where the Christian population is actually growing is Israel. That's right. Christians worship freely in Israel. I'm a Christian. I'm welcomed with open arms. The Arab Christians of Israel have the highest standard of living of any Arab peoples in the Middle East. That's tolerance. That's Israel. So if you are a follower of Jesus, like me, you're seeing your brothers and sisters hunted down throughout the Middle East, but not in Israel. Israel, again, is a beacon of tolerance in a sea of tyranny. But hey, first the Saturday people, then the Sunday people. Once again, folks, we are seeing this play out in real time before our very eyes. But thankfully, we have Christians United for Israel. We are standing with the Saturday people and the Sunday people for such a time as this. We are America's largest pro-Israel organization, over 7 million members, and growing every day. And one of the pillars of our organization is standing with the persecuted church in the Middle East. You see the information there on your screen. Call, click, join us, support our work. Hey, we are standing in the gap right now as everything is unfolding in the Middle East, as Christians are being targeted, as tyrants are targeting the Jewish state. We are standing there in the gap for Zion's sake, and we are saying never again. So join our movement at Christians United for Israel. Be sure to tune in to the Watchman show. If you love the Watchman Newscast, you'll love our 30-minute television show every Friday night on TBN. That's 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. And an exciting announcement here this week on the Watchman Newscast. The Watchman television show is now coming to the Fox Business Network. That's right. America's largest pro-Israel organization, Christians United for Israel, is teaming up with the #1 name in cable news right here in the United States. We will be on the Fox Business Network every Sunday night at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, 11:30 p.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Pacific. Prime time on the West Coast, 9:30 p.m. Wow, every Sunday night on the Fox Business Network. So if you miss us on TBN, catch us on the Fox Business Network. And for our TBN viewers, we are still bringing you every single week the Watchman Show at that awesome platform as well. It's exciting to see how God is expanding what we are doing in these perilous but biblical times in which we are living today. So be sure to subscribe to the Watchman News channel right here on YouTube for the kind of cutting-edge updates you just won't see anywhere else. Until next time, thanks for joining us. God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace.